10 races to go, and we are live once again for NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 as we are at the Michigan International Speedway for the running of the GFS Marketplace 400. Our 10th to final race of the season, 3 drivers battling it out for championship, 2 drivers within 28 points of one another, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads the way trying to win his first career championship in this 2004 custom schedule season on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. His 28-point lead is over our driver, Greg Biffle. This is only the second race this season that Biffle will be heading into without the points lead, and the second time that Dale Jr. will be the points leader entering a race this year. But obviously, as we are now into the final 10 races, these, of course, are the most important 10 races. You can't afford to have a bad finish from here on out to the end, and Greg Biffle having that tough finish outside the top 10 last night at Talladega costed him the points lead, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting a top 5. We'll see if he can rally today and maybe regain that points lead. If not, at least try to cut it down a little bit. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's live stream. Mark DeMars, Furfur Express, welcome to the stream. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Talladega. We'll be doing the live commentary for the NASCAR Cup Series race tomorrow afternoon at Talladega for the running of the Geico 500. That will kickstart at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our live commentary live stream. Pre-race live stream will start a half hour prior to that at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But tonight we have a race of our own to get done. Greg Biffle will be starting from the pole. It'll be 200 laps, 400 miles at Michigan for the second time this season. Green flag is in the air in the Irish Hills. Patrick Shadley, welcome to the stream as well. Brian Vickers with a great launch through turns 1 and 2 on the outside of Greg Biffle. And as they work their way down the backstretch right now, Dale Jr. qualified third right behind Biffle, who will lead lap 1. Biffle drives it deep into turn 3 on the bottom of the racetrack. Vickers is up towards the outside, and he is going to fade 3 wide for second place. Newman to the bottom now. And it looks like they're going to make it off of turn 4. And Greg Biffle will lead the opening lap of the race from the pole. Multiple wins throughout Dale Jr. and Greg Biffle's careers at Michigan. Of course, they came a little later in their careers at this racetrack, but they still are very, very good here. Some of their better racetracks on the circuit. Biffle just got into the wall. Off of turn 2, Newman to the outside. Biffle just trying to protect the bottom. He saw Jimmy Johnson coming in hot. And Biffle will hold on now in front of Ryan Newman. Jr. got shuffled into that third lane on the outside that time off turn 4. Both Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick get around him, dropping Jr. back to 5th as Biffle leads lap 2. Michelle Marie Cave Miller, welcome to the stream. Yes, actually running the test car paint scheme for the second straight race tonight. This is hopefully going to be our good luck charm late in the season. It did not work out well at Talladega last night, but we'll hope for the best on a fast 2-mile oval today at Michigan. F1 race in the morning. I have no clue where they're racing this week. I'll be out on the golf course in the morning. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back into second place, looking for a lead in the early going of the race. It's going to be tough to get around the driver with the clean air. We've seen that on the 2-mile racetracks in this game, both for the Busch Series, the Truck Series for that matter, and even in the Cup races we've had so far this year. Our first race at Michigan early in the season, and our only race so far this year at California Speedway as well. Jimmy Johnson gets around Dale Jr. for second place that time. A lot of passing going on for position from second on back, but the pass the leader is going to be the most difficult thing. But with the amount of drafting help that you can have here at Michigan with the long straightaways, both on the front stretch and the back straightaway, it's going to be tightly compacted together, similarly to what you might have seen in last night's race at Talladega. Jimmy Johnson running his Pride of America paint scheme in this race at Michigan today. Good for the lead. Still looking for his first win of the season. He did win an exhibition race in the Bud Shootout at Daytona earlier this year on a last lap pass, but he has not won a points paying race yet. Hopefully you get better. Tyler Burbeck, welcome to the stream as well. Your prediction is Eric Almirola to win tomorrow. Interesting. His final season, we'll see if he can get a win in his final year. Biffle's fastest lap of the race, the second to last lap in the first 6 that have now been completed, is a 38.793. Had a 39.5 in qualifying. I'm not sure if they're going to get that fast in the race today, at least without the drafting help in front of him. On the straightaways, I don't know if it's going to be possible. Jimmy Johnson puts a lot of pressure on Greg Biffle side by side for the lead off of turn 4. Jimmy going to try to lead his first lap of the race. Biffle pinches him in the tri-oval right now as Biffle tries to hold on to the lead. And Biffle barely holds on as Jimmy Johnson was trying to side draft the 16 as much as he could, but a great job by Biffle holding on. Driving it in really flat that time and backing up the corner into 1 and 2 to make that awkward angle, and he got it to stick. So Johnson got underneath Biffle, but he couldn't get around him, nor did he lead a lap. Junior again is in a 3rd lane on the outside with Kenseth in the middle this time. First time he's been in the top 5 today, and Ryan Newman slides up a little bit in front of Dale Jr., and Kenseth's still underneath the 8, and now Kenseth with a massive run to the inside of Newman for 3rd. Almirola is a really good driver on the super speedways, really. And he had a top 10 in the Daytona 500 earlier this year. Not a bad pick by any means. Sleeper is Justin Haley. Also not a bad pick. Ends up to 2nd place. Does he have anything for his teammate Greg Biffle to potentially take the lead in the early going? This could be a fuel mileage race today if it does go green all the way to the finish. We've had 3 caution-free races so far this season. Martinsville, Bristol, and California. And of course, California was the last 2-mile racetrack. This being another 2-miler, you never know. This could be a race that goes caution-free. Came down to Greg Biffle and Ryan Newman in the last couple laps of that last race on the 2-mile track at California. Of course, Newman in the top 5. Biffle's led the first 10 laps of the race so far today. He's hitting his marks for right now. We'll see if he can continue to do that as the tires wear on. Hoping for Alex Bowman. We'll see. Oh, contact. Biffle squeezes Dale Jr. Barely keeps it off the wall on the outside. It gets cleaned out by Jimmy Johnson. Back into traffic. A big crash off of turn 2. Oh, what a terrible crash for Greg Biffle. He saved it and he just came right down on top of Jimmy Johnson. Backed in front of Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick. Another car went spinning up ahead. Problems for the 2nd place driver in the point standings, Greg Biffle. In back-to-back nights, he's been involved in an accident. Last night, he couldn't recover from it at Talladega. And he's going to have his work cut out for him in the early going of the race after leading every lap leading to the accident. Can't pit for fuel or tires because of being involved. heavy damage to the back of the 16 car. Well, this one's definitely not going to go caution-free. You saw how hard it was to pass the leader there, and that's going to be the case all night. But Biffle just slid up the track a little too much, and then he tried to cut down off the exit of turn 2. Didn't realize Jimmy Johnson was there, ran right into him. And now he'll have to come from the back. I believe one car's out of the race. I'm not sure if it was anybody involved in that accident or not, but the green flag is back in the air at lap 16, and it'll be Jimmy Johnson in the lead as he was able to make his way through. Even though he had the contact with the 16 by far got the worst of it, and I think Johnson actually stayed straight and kept his car rolling pretty good. So now Biffle has that rear bumper damage. Probably going to make the car feel a little bit lighter, loosen it up. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. And yeah, congrats to my guy, Miguel Cabrera, for the Detroit Tigers, getting his career hit number 3,000 today, and 301. Or 3,001, not 301. That's 301. A couple RBIs. They're actually playing their second game of a doubleheader right now. They won the first one big. It was 13-0 was the final score of the first game today. If we're going to have to try to go back to being maybe a little patient. Though he is being very aggressive off this restart. Biffle definitely has a lot of time to recover. Going to be on the outside into turns 3 and 4. I think that's going to be the place to be. He's able to get back down to the bottom in front of Kyle Petty. It still gets a decent run under the 0 of Ward Burton. Burton trying to squeeze him in the tri-oval. Dale Jr., I believe, was able to get through that accident as well. I don't think he got a piece of it. If we got a little out of shape off turn 2, bounced into the wall, then back down into Ward Burton on the inside. Matt Kenseth now to the race lead at the front of the field, passing Jimmy Johnson. And you wonder if he's got an equal car compared to the 16 of Biffle, with those two being teammates and both being at the front of the field at the time of that first yellow. Biffle's kept the car so clean for so many races this season, but now with these last 2 races, he has really, really struggled. And even in his last Busch race, he almost DNF'd as well. And hang on for a 7th place finish. Comes in 28 points back. Jeff Gordon 196 back in 3rd. Biffle into the back bumper of the 198. Nearly gets turned off of turn 2 by Barry Baker from behind. I think that initial contact ended up stacking him up in an accordion effect. Biffle's not going to be getting out of traffic anytime soon, though. He's going to have to get used to it. Johnson back in the lead after Kenseth was able to lead for about 2 or 3 laps. A little bit of lead changing going on up towards the front of the field. Biffle still a decent ways back. In 33rd after restarting at the back of the pack. Being involved in that first and only caution back at lap 13. Caution's out again. Turn 1. Trouble. And it's our second of the race already. This will stack the field up again, and it looks like... Oh, it was the leader! Jimmie Johnson has spun from the lead and backs it hard into the outside wall. Gets clobbered by Stewart. Another big wreck. 2 big accidents with the race leader. First Biffle, now Jimmie Johnson. Stewart gets in both of them. Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, I believe Jeff Burton also involved. Greg Biffle will pit under the caution, and he'll take tires and try to repair a little bit more damage. See if anybody else comes in. He's hoping they stay out. And it looks like they are staying out. A lot of cars with damage in the pack right now as well. But Biffle will pit. He'll top off on fuel. He'll take tires. So now we can go off strategy with the leaders not being involved in this accident. 2 cautions in the first 23 laps of the race. Both of them involving the race leader. Johnson spins on his own, then Biffle spun with contact with the 48, but that was after he had to make a save going way up the track over driving turns 1 and 2 and keeping it off the wall when he chopped into the 48, spinning himself out. That one was just Johnson on his own that time. He took a couple hard hits there. He backed it into the outside wall hard with the left rear, and then he came down the track across the banking in front of Stewart, who clobbered him. And Stewart was the one that clobbered Biffle. Wonder if we're going to get any debris cautions anytime soon as well. So it looks like Jimmie Johnson also pit. So Biffle and Johnson hit pit road. Everybody else stays out. They're going to have fresh tires. Green flag back in the air. So 2 cars on fresh tires versus the rest of the field, but they both have pretty decent damage. Lap 27 restart. So bunch the field back together again. And Matt Kenseth will be the new leader following Jimmie Johnson's accident. I think Dale Jr. narrowly survived each of the first 2 accidents today. And if he keeps his car clean, Kenseth also was ahead of that one, or at least just behind Johnson, was able to miss it as well. If those 2 keep their cars clean, they may be the ones to beat now. Junior hasn't led a lap up to this point. That's good to hear, Derek. Sounds like a pretty quick recovery, really. Biffle crowding the 107. He makes a clean pass on him. Now he'll pull up. Biffle struggling to get through the traffic in the dirty air the first time. With the damage, he's hoping the fresher tires will be that great equalizer. Biffle's already back up to 32nd. He was in 33rd when the caution came out for Johnson spinning and backing into the wall and then across traffic behind him. Biffle just ran his fastest lap of the race at 38.760 that last lap, 3/1000ths of a second quicker than his previous fastest lap. I think this one's going to have the potential to be even quicker than the last one. No, not quite. Never mind. He was about 4/100ths of a second off. Maybe half a second. Oh, contact into turn 1. 198. Tim Wagner, Sterling Marlin in the 40. Dangerous area to have the contact. Biffle's going to go 3 wide to the bottom of the racetrack. Big move into turn 3 from Biffle in traffic. Side of a couple more cars off of turn 4 as he pulls behind the 198 in the draft. To the inside. Took a peek. Goes up to maybe try to side draft the 77 of Brendan Gaughan now. 3 wide middle. Now he's on the outside. He'll clear Gaughan. Marlin to the inside of Biffle. Off of turn 2, Biffle the big run though in the draft on the back straightaway behind the 198. Now he pulls out a line into turn 3. Has the 40 of Marlin clear. Gets underneath Wagner. Hooks the white line in the middle of 3 and 4. Drives to the inside of Jeff Green and up to 23rd. That's a risky move. 3 wide contact. Oh, Craven's in the wall hard. Caution back across traffic again goes the 32. That did not work out. Our 3rd yellow of the race. Oh, what a terrible hit to Ricky Craven from the 141 of Ray Parker. They were 3 wide into 1. The car in the middle pinched Biffle into turn 1. They made contact, ricocheting the car in the middle back up into Ricky Craven. Bringing out now our 4th yellow. Biffle caused it, so going to come on in again. Or was involved, I guess. Can't catch a break right now. 4.2 seconds of damage again. 3 cautions for the first 34 laps. It's one of these NASCAR races. Looking like the Xfinity Series at Martinsville a couple weeks ago. Maybe that means we're going to have a fight by the end of this one. A virtual fight. I don't think Johnson's made his way through traffic as quickly as Biffle. Biffle's going to have to try it again. Nobody pit during that caution flag. Still just the 1 car out of the race. Again, Johnson and Biffle have the freshest tires in the field for the restart. Biffle did not take off well that time. Very terrible. Oh, we got trouble. Turn 1. Car in the wall again. On the outside of the racetrack, but we stay green this time. What was that? We did not get far into the lead. Jeff Gordon's out in front now. I don't know if the leader just sailed it into 1 or what happened there. Feels like we can't even get 10 laps in anymore without a caution coming out. No yellow that time. And I couldn't tell who that was that went up into the wall. There was a stream of smoke going up to the outside wall. And they were just getting up to speed, so somebody had to have thrown a pretty bad block. Survival type of race today at Michigan. Biffle has to go back on the attack as he gets blocked by Petty on the backstretch. He's getting blocked by rookie Scott Wimmer, the 22 car. Biffle to the inside of Wimmer. Wimmer trying to side draft Biffle. Biffle trying to get away from the 22. And a big block as he pulls up clear into turn 1. Jeff Gordon is the leader. Can he capitalize today? 3rd in points. 2nd in points right now and 40th. Not sure where Dale Jr.'s at. I would assume he's still towards the front of the field. DNFs are on, yes. They're always on. I never have them off. Not just for me either, for everybody. Stuck on the outside of the 142, tried to cross him over, 3 wide middle, contact off of turn 2. That was the 142's fault that time, slipping up the track. And we have a new leader in the middle of turns 3 and 4. It is the points leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., who will lead his first lap of the race now. 5 bonus points for him. Biffle led the first 13 and hasn't led since. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now leads this race. And that was not what Biffle wants to see, especially this far back in the pack. The love tap on Robbie Gordon. That's not a great thing to have happen at these high of speeds at Michigan. 196 miles an hour into turn 3 that time. Johnson's actually made his way through a decent amount of traffic on his fresher tires right now. Three wide off of turn 2 in front of Biffle. Sprague, Nemechek, Wagner, contact between Wagner and Nemechek. That's going to stall him out. Wagner with a block on Biffle as Biffle was coming in hot pursuit. Now Biffle misses turn 3. He gets into the wall. Kenseth now has the lead off of turn 4 after Junior was able to lead a couple laps. They're blocked by Wagner. Biffle can't get around that 198 car. Now he's underneath him in the middle of 1 and 2. Has him clear in the backstretch. That's for 30th. Hops in the draft to the 0 now of Ward Burton. Biffle driving in deep. A little loose through 3 at 4. Almost overdrove the corner that time. A little slide job on Ward Burton. Little dive bombs to the bottom underneath Jeff Green. Biffle gets pinched, 3 wide, nearly contact. Did a great job keeping it off one another that time. Barry Baker in the 119 car, and there's the 137. Was part of the last accident as well with Ricky Craven and Ray Parker. Biffle's closing in on Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's only a few more positions ahead of Biffle. Jonathan Brinker, welcome to the stream. Running the test paint scheme. Biffle just ran wide and into the wall that time. They're going to be 3 wide off turn 2. Biffle takes the dive 3 wide underneath the Ganassi Dodges of Marlin and Mears. We're going to be seeing pit stops very shortly. Although we have had 3 yellows, so these guys have probably saved a decent amount of fuel. Mears to the inside of Biffle. Side drafts the 119 of Baker. Pierce is really pinching the 16 on the outside right now. Biffle gets down, oh, to the bottom, and he hooked himself into the wall. Craven drills him in the right front. Just not enough room. That was a tight gap, and he turned himself in the process with the 198. Got a piece of the inside wall down on the pit road wall as well. This got clipped in oncoming traffic. Lap 49 as we see our 4th caution already in today's race. And Biffle's now been involved in 2 wrecks himself. And a large portion of the field's coming onto pit road right now. And unfortunately, because Biffle again was involved in the accident, cannot pit for fuel or tires. So he will gain track position, but he is going to be on older tires and even more damage on the restart. This has just not been a good day for Greg Biffle. To be so consistent all year and then losing the points lead after a bad race at Talladega and now struggling in the next race at Michigan. While Dale Jr.'s led laps, Biffle qualified on the pole, led the first 13, and after getting involved in that first accident, he's been back in traffic since. I don't buy that some drivers stayed out, but I guess you never know. Biffle's got track position all right, though. Lap 52, Kenseth will restart from the lead. Kurt Busch in 2nd, Tony Stewart 3rd, Jeff Gordon in 5th. Dale Jr. lost some spots on pit road that time. Biffle trying to block Jeff Gordon. Kurt Busch to the inside of Matt Kenseth. Great restart for the 97. Jeff Burton up inside the top 6 now as well. Contact between Gordon and Biffle. Three wide for the lead into turn 3. Tony Stewart underneath both Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch. Can't hang on. It's going to be Kurt Busch who will lead this time by at the line. Will be Busch's first lap lead of the race. A very early going of this one. Still lap 53, just over a quarter of the way home. 4 cautions have really slowed the race pace down today. A lot of changing to the lead going on right now, and they're not able to pull away from Biffle, even though Biffle's on older tires. Kurt was able to lead 1 lap, and now he's back to 3rd. Tony Stewart's going to lead his first lap of the race back to the start-finish line. Kurt Busch has a run, blocking Biffle in the process. Kenseth looking to take it 3 wide, perhaps. Oh, contact between the Roush cars. They were 3 wide. Biffle way down to the bottom, slides up. Kenseth Busch still side by side. Kenseth side drafts Busch on the back straightaway. They're slowing each other down. Here comes Biffle. Challenging on old tires. He gets a little tight in the middle of the corner. He's up to 2nd. Oh, Busch gets loose right in front of him, and here comes Stewart to the lead. Problems for the Roush cars at the front of the field. And Stewart will lead that time at the line. Biffle shuffle back to the outside. And now he's in the wall. There's a car slow, just making his way onto pit road towards the back. Slide job for Biffle, just cleared Ryan Newman for 5th. Gordon up to P3, and he's on the inside of Busch for 2nd. Now drops in line behind him on the back straightaway. Newman gonna try to cross over Biffle. Dark Crypto, welcome to the stream. Gonna get sketchy again. 3 wide, Biffle in the middle. Sandwich between Kenseth and Newman. Clears Newman to get down to the bottom. Should get around the 17 of Matt Kenseth as well. It looks like Jeff Gordon's going to be up to second. Oh! Contact again between Busch and Biffle. Gordon pulls away and he reels in Tony Stewart. Gordon looking for his second lead of the night. Gordon going for the lead. Leaders just keep battling back and forth. The Biffle's somehow able to hold on old tires. Stewart trying to find a way back around Gordon. He goes a little bit wide in turns 3 and 4. Biffle to the inside of Stewart for second. Challenging. Tony trying to side draft the right rear corner panel to 16. Biffle clear. Astros McGee, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that incident. Oh boy. Biffle over driving. Trying to get Gordon into a mistake. Gordon actually went wide himself. Ryan Newman to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh boy. These guys are not going to make it racing the way they are. The amount of cautions we've already seen in this race today. To the inside of Ryan Newman. It's still tough to pass the leader, though. That's the big issue right now. Biffle back to second place. 60 laps complete. The window is open to make it on 3 more stops, and Biffle's thinking about pitting just to get himself out of traffic. He knows even if he gets the lead, he is not going to be able to pull away. He's going to have a hard time just trying to get around Gordon as it is. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Give Biffle a chance to get fresh tires back on the race car as well. It's on the inside of Gordon off turn 4, but Biffle will pit this time. So he's going to short pit. Can't speed onto pit road. He did not. Timed it well. 4 tires and fuel for the Biff. No adjustments. Trying to just find a way to get out of traffic, take on fresh tires. And it looks like Dale Jr. is the car out of the race who just blew an engine. So Dale Earnhardt Jr., the points leader, has an issue in this race. And now there's an issue on the pit stop for Greg Biffle's. The rear tire changer was slipping, trying to get back to his feet after changing the right rear tire. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. on a developing story is out of this race with a blown engine. And that bad pit stop for Biffle might cost him his lap. There goes Gordon. Biffle's going to go a lap down. But he is the only car 1 lap down, so he would get the free pass if the caution came out. He'd like to cycle back in front of everybody if he can. Getting up to speed down on the bottom of the racetrack right now. But Dale Jr. is out. Greg Biffle is now 41st. And Jeff Gordon, who's 196 points back coming in, is the leader. Remember, you can score 190 points if you lead the most laps and win the race. So he can't take the points lead today, but he could definitely cut it down quite a bit. And we know he's going to gain points at least on Dale Jr. And quite a few of them. I told you guys all it was going to take was one bad race for Biffle and Jr. Biffle outside the top 10 in the last race. Struggled most of the day today. Dale Jr. will not have a good finish in this one. This is the chance for Jeff Gordon to make it a 3-car battle for the championship in his drive for 5. And we have just 9 races to go following this one tonight. As Matt Kenseth said, only my folks, my jokes are funny. What did that have to do with anything? I think I missed something. Oh, jeez. Matt Kenseth ever say that? I've heard that quote be used before in comment sections in NASCAR videos. I don't remember him saying that for some reason. Wonder if we're finally going to get a long green flag run in this one. About 12 laps into this current green flag run. Ryan Newman going to take the race lead now. And now to Kenseth. Kenseth trying to help his teammate out. Getting around Jeff Gordon. Biffle's car has been very, very loose ever since he had that first accident back on lap 13 and the heavy rear bumper damage as you see right now. That was after an impact from Tony Stewart. Stewart's also been involved in 2 accidents today, and he still led laps in this one. Since both of them as well. Phil slides up in front of his teammate Jeff Burt. Aggressive side draft from Mike Murphy on the 40 of Sterling Marlin. Biffle's just been way too aggressive in this one. That was his problem last night at Talladega. Just needs to go back to doing what he was doing in the first 2/3 of the season. And that's just be patient. These are long races. That lack of patience got him into trouble in the early going with the pressure from leading today. And it wasn't the pressure from leading that got him in an accident at Talladega. It was a bad block late in the race in the pack and cost him a shot there as well. Biffle just cannot get around Mike Murphy. Just got around the 191 car that time through 3 and 4. Murphy left a lot of bottom open that time through 1 and 2. Biffle drives underneath him. Murphy trying to pinch the 16 on the back straightaway. Biffle moves up to block him. He is clear. Bradley Burgoon, welcome to the stream, and thank you for that comment down in the chat. 130 laps to go at Michigan in the GFS Marketplace 400. Dale Jr. out of the race. 42nd place finish is what it's looking like for him, unless he can get that car back on the racetrack and hope for a few more DNFs to collect more points. He did lead a couple laps today, so 5 bonus points for him. Biffle led the first 13, but he is in 41st. First and only car 1 lap down. Pitting not too long after the restart to get fresh tires back on the race car after everybody pitted outside of him during that last caution. He couldn't pit for fuel or tires because he was involved in the accident. He's been involved in 3 of the 4 cautions so far today. 4 yellows so far through the first quarter of the race. We are on currently about a 19-lap green flag run, which is our longest of the race in the early going. Again, the points battle on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Dale Jr. came in as the points leader by 28 points over Greg Biffle. Both cars outside the top 40. Jr. out. Biffle's at least still on the track. And Jeff Gordon, 196 back. He's led laps today as well, and as far as we know, is in the top 3. And he's got a chance to narrow that down quite a bit. If he gets the most laps led and wins this race today, again, 190 points is the max amount of points he could score in a race. So he can't take the points lead today, but he could certainly make it a 3-horse race with just 9 races to go when the checkered flag flies tonight. This is going to be a fun next probably 2 to 2.5 weeks of this season. It's going to continue to ramp up until about the early to middle of May, and we could be setting up for the best championship finish in channel history. And remember, the season finale is at Talladega on this custom schedule season. Saw how wild the last race was last night at Daytona. And Biffle has not been good on the super speedways this season either. That has definitely been his weakest point. He's been inconsistent on the fantasy road courses. He does have 3 DNFs on him, but he has won a few of them though at the same time. He's just not flat out not getting good finishes consistently on the super speedways at Daytona and Talladega. Big block on Dale Jarrett, which nearly knocked the 88 UPS car into the wall. Johnson trying to rally after spinning on his own from the lead earlier. He's on equal tires as the rest of the leaders now. To the inside of Casey Mears for position. Off of turn 2. Contact with Casey Mears. Wade Solinsky, welcome to the stream. You're good, Wade. Thanks for tuning in anyway. Well, we have... See, with pitting when we did, I know for a fact Biffle can make it on 2 more pit stops the rest of this race. So that's why he's short pitted. And he is a lap down, but he was willing to take the risk because he is the only driver 1 lap down. So if he did get a yellow, he'd just be right back at the back of the pack anyway, and he'd be back on the lead lap. And he could still choose to pit under the caution if we do end up getting another one, which... I'd be shocked if it goes caution-free to the end, considering how many yellows we've already seen today. He could unlap himself with a little bit fresher tires right now as well. Definitely wouldn't be impossible. Trying to share a draft with Jamie McMurray. 198 miles an hour into turn 1 for Biffle that time. Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte side by side for position. Drafting again behind McMurray through the tri-oval. Labonte gets around his teammate Stewart. Nearly contacted. That's just Wallace trying to aggressively side draft the 18 of Labonte. 3 wide, Biffle to the bottom. A lot of cars wide off of turn 4. And a little contact on the bottom between Biffle and McMurray. They all hang on for now. Oh, and Labonte clips Biffle into the wall. They both go on the outside of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2. Labonte got the worst of it. He's going to lose a bunch of positions. Labonte mistimed his entry into turn number 1 and nearly turned the 16 for a 3rd time today. Biffle could have gone around. There's another car out of the race somewhere. Biffle's shown in 40th now. Yeah, we had 4 cautions in the first 49 laps of the race. Went green at lap 53. We haven't had one since. Our longest green flag run right now at almost 30 laps. Biffle tried to pit, and if he would have had a fast enough pit stop, he definitely would have gotten back out there in front of the leaders and wouldn't be in traffic again anyway. But because the right rear tire changer made a mistake during that green flag pit stop, they actually fell a lap down because of it. It's 2-mile track as far ahead as he was in track position after that last restart. Should have been able to hold on to the lead if it was just a clean stop, but it was not a clean stop. Traps behind Rusty Wallace in the tri-oval. Really thinks we're going to get a total of 6 yellows. Christian Heidenkamp, welcome to the stream. Am I ever going to touch heat again? I don't plan on it. I've mentioned that a bunch in the channel. I've gotten asked that a few times. Feels like ever since NASCAR Heat was done, no, I'm done with it. I did more than what I was originally expecting to do with NASCAR Heat 4 and Heat 5 anyway. Well, specifically Heat 5. I don't plan on going back to that. No need to. I've done enough seasons over there. I'm not done with NASCAR 21 Ignition, though. Trying to milk that final season out as much as possible, considering that it's still early in the NASCAR season. Stewart not giving up the bottom lane in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Kenseth just took the lead away from Ryan Newman into turn 3 that last lap. With a little out of shape in the dirty air behind Stewart. Still gets a decent drive in the center of the corner, though. Got it squared up quickly. And he's on the inside of Smoke. Trying to side draft him right now, but he just does not have straightaway speed, even with a little bit fresher tires. It's due to all that damage on the race car. They got Stewart a little loose off of turn 2 that time. Made the move to the inside, but it wasn't enough. Biffle down to the apron, big slide off of turn 4. That did not work out for him. Has to go back up high to block Jamie McMurray in the tri-oval. McMurray down to the bottom now. Biffle with another block there, and here comes Rusty Wallace to the outside of the 42 into turn 1. Greg Biffle just cannot get around Tony Stewart. Oh man, Biffle loose off turn 4. Gonna drive down into the grass to try and catch it. McMurray's gonna get by on the outside. Halfway on fuel now for Biffle. Wallace to the inside into turns 1 and 2. I think there's just too much damage on the 16. He's just not fast enough to get around Stewart. Can stay in the draft. That's about it. Wallace jumped way up the track. Kenseth back out in front. A lot of lead changes in today's Michigan race. Biffle still, though, has not led since lap 13 after leading the first 13 laps of the race. Ever since that first caution, he's been back in traffic and hasn't been able to get out. Rusty Wallace in the wall off of turn 2 as he got intimidated by Greg Biffle. That was one way for Biffle to get around another car cleanly. Wallace got loose and couldn't save it at the high-rated speeds at MIS. McMurray to the inside of Stewart into turn 1 for position. Oh, big slide job by McMurray. Stewart looking to cross him over on the backstretch. They're side by side and then battling with each other back and forth. This allowed Greg Biffle in the 16 to close in. Biffle gonna make it 3 wide in the middle of turns 3 and 4. It's gonna be a best chance to make the pass. Stewart battles in the middle. Biffle can't get the drive off of the corner. Trying to side draft Stewart, then McMurray, and he has to stay behind both of them. Well, drafting up on the outside, but Stewart should be able to clear the 42. Oh, and McMurray now with a block on Biffle. Biffle still can't get around Stewart. These guys stretch it another couple laps. They're going to be able to make it on 2 more stops as well as Greg Biffle. We're at lap 93 already. With contact on the backstretch. He's just trying to side draft Stewart, but pulled him back a little bit more than he thought. Clears high on Stewart. Blocks him down to the bottom in the tri-oval now. I think Stewart's in either 4th or 5th right now. If we go a couple more laps, they're going to be able to make it on 2 more stops. And they'll be within the range to make it on 2 more, and Biffle might end up getting stuck a lap down. Definitely doesn't have the speed to race his way. back into this one. Not pulling away from Stewart. Tony's a little bit quicker than Biffle, so that probably doesn't help the Biff out. Biffle just praying we get a caution sometime soon that he's not involved in. Getting back on the lead lap with the free pass. Right front wearing out a little bit on the 16. Stewart and Biffle are even drafting each other to make up some quicker lap times as well. Potentially. We have some cars pitting this time by, at the back of the pack at least. None of the leaders pit that last time. Biffle staying out this lap. And more of the leaders are coming in. Ryan Newman will pit from the lead, giving Kevin Harvick his first lead of the night. 5 bonus points for Happy Harvick. Front of the field. Lap 98 right now for the leaders, considering Biffle's a lap down. Biffle's made it 51 laps before, so the window is open for Greg Biffle to be able to make it on 2 more pit stops the rest of this race. And, I mean, it looks like he's going to have to pit again, because he's not going to be able to go that much further anyway, past the rest of these guys. So maybe if he short pits again, takes on fresh tires, he can potentially cycle out in front of the leaders that he's trying to chase down right now. Here comes Biffle. This will be his 3rd stop out of 4. Coming in hard on the pit road. Locks the tires up down to 69 miles an hour at the last second. Trying to get all he could that time. It'll be a 4-tire stop, and hopefully no mistakes this time for Biffle on pit road. Kenseth is the leader. Harvick is in that time from the lead. The numbers on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen were the point standings coming into this race today. So those are the points coming into the race. Greg Biffle in the 16 came in 2nd in points. Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a 28-point lead, and Jeff Gordon was 3rd, 196 back. Everybody else over 300 points or further behind from 4th on back. About 500 points back to 5th. Who I believe was Matt Kenseth coming into the race. Maybe he can gain a good chunk. Again, Dale Jr.'s out of the race. He blew an engine. Definitely a chance for Biffle to take the points lead in this race, and he doesn't even have to necessarily have a great finish to be able to do it. Jeff Gordon can't take the points lead as far back as he is, but he could definitely close that gap if he finishes off a strong day that he has started so far. Casey Kane will now lead a lap. I lost count of how many drivers have led a lap. He's got to be the 8th or 9th different leader. Halfway home now in this race. It was a good clean stop from Biffle that last time as well. He's got fresh tires and clean air, so he definitely has a lot of grip right now. Has to find a way to make up a lap, though. That's the problem. These guys are going to be able to make it on one more stop, and Biffle's within reach to make it on one more himself. Casey Kane is in. Biffle back to one lap down. Jeff Gordon is in with Kane. Michael Weeks, welcome to the stream. $11 likes right now on this stream. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Live commentary for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race at Talladega for the Geico 500. Starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the channel as we go back to another live commentary race of a real race on the weekend. Do that every weekend. I don't go to the track except for a few of them stretched out throughout the course of this year just so I can watch it with my grandparents. Like the good old times. I've only done that once so far this year, so every other track I've missed, I've been there. I've been to 4 Cup races already this season. Won't be at another one, though, until Gateway in June, but I'll also be at the Indy 500, so I won't be able to do the Coke 600 live stream because I'll be out of town that weekend, but I'll be at another race. It isn't NASCAR related, but I'll still have the race highlights on the channel for you guys. I almost think Greg Biffle lost time to Ryan Newman, who cycled out of the pits a lot further ahead of him. Biffle had a good stop, but I think Newman had an even better stop. New tablet, well, nice. Hopefully you like it. Greg Biffle is in desperate need of a caution. He's in the free pass position, which is awarded in the Cup Series in this game if you are the first driver 1 lap down. The problem is there's only 96 laps to go. There's not a lot of time left in this race, and everybody only has to pit one more time. Thing is, though, also, if we have a long enough of a green flag run, Ryan Newman's going to catch lap traffic eventually. Sean Derryman, welcome to the stream. Changing things up for the next few races. We've got the test car paint scheme on the 16 Ford of Greg Biffle. Didn't have luck with it at Talladega, and we're having even worse luck of it tonight at Michigan. Busch pulling down off of turn 4 in front of Greg Biffle. Biffle just going to sit behind him and draft through the tri-oval. Back into the 38.7s that last lap for Biffle. Just gets to the inside of Kurt Busch off of turn 2. So not able to get around him yet. Again, Dale Jr. out of the race, but Greg Biffle would only be 2 positions ahead of him, being in 40th right now, 1 lap down. A little off strategy play that doesn't seem to really work out for him. It's about the 3rd time he's had contact with Kurt Busch already in this one, as they had contact in the middle of the back straightaway that time. Biffle clears Busch off of turn 4. Clean air back in front of the Biff. It's going to be tough to drive away from him, though, with Kurt having a lot of draft. And these long straightaways at Michigan. Newman's probably got to catch lap traffic with him the next, I'd probably say 5 to 10 laps. Biffle needs a caution. And if he gets a caution soon enough, he can actually pit, take 4 tires. Maybe get through the field on fresher tires. So right now they're pretty equal with everybody else. For the most part. Might even consider right sides only on the next stop just to try to get back on the lead lap in case he doesn't have the free pass position. If he doesn't have the free pass when caution comes out, he's just going to be stuck a lap down anyway. Don't forget, it was back-to-back pole awards for Greg Biffle coming into this race today as well, and he still didn't do so hot in a finish, at least at Talladega. He did lead the most laps, leading 49 of the 188 laps. Today, he only led the first 13 from the pole, and he hasn't led since. It's been almost 100 laps since he has led. He still has a shot at 3,000 laps led this season. He's still just shy of the 2,600 mark, so he's really going to have to pick it up these final 9 races of the season if he's going to want to get to that 3,000 number. It'll be interesting to watch as the season goes on, as well as the championship battle itself, which is definitely going to be a lot tighter at the end of this one, the way things are looking right now. Greg Biffle has finished a lap down only 1 race this season in races he has finished in the Cup Series. On 3 occasions that has happened in a Busch race this season. On this game. Remember, I'm 0 for 2 in the EA Sports Cup Series Championships when it comes to the season-long points format like this one. We did win the first season on NASCAR 05 with Jimmy Johnson, the fan-voted driver season, but that had the chase, so it was some form of a playoff format. This one is a season-long format. Biffle's definitely pulled away from Busch, but I doubt he is reeling in Ryan Newman at all. Newman, I believe, has been working with lap traffic the last few laps. Working on getting around him at least. I mean, this is just going to hurt Greg Biffle if he has to ride around the rest of this race. A lap down. A caution will shake things up, whether Biffle gets the free pass or not. At least he can try to go off strategy or something. Take the wave around if they all pit. Not all the leaders pit, though. He's going to have to just probably end up pitting, so that way when they pit under green, he could just stay out and hope for a caution then. Nathan Elliott, welcome to the stream. This has not been a great day. The top 2 of points each 40th or worse. Again, Dale Jr. 42nd. Who would have thought with a blown engine for Dale Jr. today and a 42nd place finish, he still might have the points lead if Biffle continues to run where he's at right now. They both be in the 5 bonus point range as they have both led laps, but far from the most for both of them as well. I don't think there's any way Biffle's going to lead the most, even if he gets back to the lead, unless it's very soon, which I don't see that happening. It's a work in progress right now. Still a long ways to go. Again, we had 4 cautions in this race, all in the first 49 laps. But we have not had one since, and we have gone on this current green flag run for a little over 60 laps. 65 laps to be exact, considering Biffle's a lap down. But again, as far as fuel and tires go, it's still a 4-stop race for Biffle and everybody else. He just short pitted and not really making much of a difference for him. Alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today for about the next 8 laps or so. He continues to just ride by himself. You can definitely pick up more positions if we have more engine failures, which could definitely happen at this fast racetrack at Michigan. I'm surprised we've only seen a few of them as it is today. It's like 3 to be exact. This was the last car running on the racetrack. Being involved in 2 hard accidents has definitely killed the engine power in this Ford. Isn't in the free pass position anymore either. We've had a long enough green flag run for Ryan Newman to get into lap traffic. Biffle is about 2/3 to probably closer to 3/4 of a straightaway off the race lead, or off the race leader, to get his lap back. If we do end up making it to the next pit stop, there's a good chance Biffle may go fuel only, just so he can hope for a caution late in the race that he can get back in the lead lap and take tires and go from there, and we'll see what he can do on a final restart. "79 laps to go." Comment in the chat down below, do you think we're going to see another caution before the end of the race? And if so, when do you think it will be? Tyler Burbeck says caution lap 151. That would be interesting, because that would put everybody on the window to make it in on fuel again. If we get a caution right around 50 to go. Especially if it's above 50 laps to go. Well, he says 2 more yellows, lap 150, 170. Yellow between 5 and 20 to go. That'd be way too late for us. I think the sooner the better at this point because Biffle's already not in the free pass position. But at least he can pit. Just kind of go off strategy. It would mean making that extra stop, but at least it'd be under a caution flag versus under green flag conditions. Fortunate to survive the accidents today. Still be running on the track. If he would have DNF'd, he would have been the one finishing 42nd. Junior would have DNF'd and still finished a spot ahead of him. In the time of those couple wrecks that Biffle had gotten involved in. Biffle couldn't get the car to roll to the bottom of the track. The rear tire slipped out from underneath them on entry into turn 3 that time. Probably cut his speed down a little bit more. Strongly believe that NASCAR is going to have a new game in 2022. Oh, no new game. Kind of seen murmurings of that happening. I don't know too much in detail myself, though, to be able to make even an objective opinion on it. It almost seems like Kurt Busch is starting to reel in Greg Biffle again. Assuming it is Busch behind him, it may not be. I'm going to be praying probably the rest of this race for a caution flag. I'm just like, come on, sooner the better. And waiting for every bit of about 30 to 40 laps now, and it still hasn't happened. And now we're getting down to the point where we only have about 72 laps to go. The less laps we have in the back end of the caution, the worse for Biffle. It's going to be that much harder to get back into this. Especially being a lap down. Really, the only time you wouldn't want to caution from now to the end is if we're in the middle of green flag pit stops for what would be the final stops of the race, and Biffle pits before the rest of some of those leaders, because that would actually trap him 2 laps down instead of 1 down. I mean, no stage breaks or anything to race to the end of either. That's also hurting Greg Biffle, unlike today's NASCAR games where be able to prepare for that to maybe try to take the wave around, but there's no guarantee that we're going to get another caution or another restart in this one to get back on equal tires if he ever decided to do that. can't tell if that's Kurt Busch or Jimmy Johnson behind me. Watch it be neither of them. Holding through the different camera angles for about the next 8 laps once again. The second and final time in tonight's race at Michigan. I'm racing for about an hour and a half up to this point. Second and final trip to Michigan this season. Right front wearing out right now on Greg Biffle. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. We're getting pretty close to that final pit stop of the day. Window gonna open up. Considering Biffle's a lap down, probably another 15 or 16 laps. From the pit window opening to the end. Quarter tank of gas right now remaining in the tank for Greg Biffle. And it is Jimmy Johnson who has closed on Greg Biffle from behind after spinning from the lead earlier. Trying to make a rally of his own. Biffle's actually closing in on one driver for position. You just never know if any of these guys could be the free pass position. I don't think any of these ones are, at least. Again, you just never know. Jimmy Johnson looking to the outside of Greg Biffle in turns 1 and 2. They're not battling for position. Ray Parker and Greg Biffle about to be battling for position. Biffle drafting behind Parker on the back straightaway. Pulls down to the bottom into turn 3. Parker going to give Biffle plenty of room. That will move Biffle up to 39th off of turn 4. He is clear, and Jimmy Johnson gets to the inside of Parker as well now. Right side tire's definitely getting really worn right now. I'm even starting to wonder if right side tires only is even going to be able to get him back on the lead lap. I don't know if he's quite close enough. And fuel only, those tires are not going to make it to the end, at least on the right sides. The left sides may have a shot to make it to the finish. Even that would still be around 100 laps on him. I think 102 to be exact. $60 laps to go at Michigan. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of tonight's race. Brad, Joey, Ryan, or Stenhouse? Really, I don't think any of those are bad picks. I probably lean more... Oh, man, I don't know. Because Stenhouse has not been as good this year as what he was last year, I'd probably stay away from Ricky. But the other three, I mean, even RFK cars have shown at least decent speed. Especially in recent weeks, really, since the penalty for Keselowski, he's really been better. At least getting top 15s. Blaney's been really good, and Logano's been really good as well. I am live streaming the race tomorrow, yes. Live commentary tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Geico 500 at Talladega. And I do not think... Well, yeah, we're definitely not in the window yet. Got to caution, these guys will be just outside the window from where we're at right now. Biffle's going to need to get back in it at some point, though. So if we get a caution, everybody is already good to the end on fuel. Then they're probably going to stay out and just keep their track position. Sure, Biffle could pit, but he'd still be a lap down. I can guarantee you he's not in the free pass spot right now. And he has not gained on Newman. In fact, he has probably even lost time. So you replicated history, Jeffrey Earnhardt, then, is what you're saying? That was pretty cool seeing him sit on the pole yesterday. Finished second today. I was watching the race while I was golfing. At least the final stage of the Xfinity race. Got some cars pitting right now. The cars pitting now are definitely not going to be able to make it to the end on fuel. Handful of them coming into the pits. I'm almost starting to question if Biffle can even make it on one more stop. Definitely staying out this time by. Still in hope for a yellow. Ryan Newman's really dominated the second half of this race so far. There were a lot of lead changes in the first half, but ever since the last green flag stops, he has led every lap. Biffle will pit at lap 147, so he'll stay out this time by as well. But then he'll pit at lap 147. Not sure if he's going to have a ride with Gibbs. I mean, Kyle Busch could get a ride with really whoever he wants. That'd be shocking if he left the 18 team. I get Ty Gibbs is on his way up, but replacing a two-time champ who's in the top 5 in points just doesn't seem wise. Well, Biffle out of fuel in the middle of 3 and 4. He was going to pit this time anyway. This isn't going to really cost him any time. He's about at the point that he was going to have to start braking to come into the pits anyway. Gets it right down to 70 miles an hour on the nose. It's going to be right side tires only. And he's going to top off on fuel. Probably not going to be able to make it to the end of the race anyway, so he's going to try to save time going in with right sides only. And we'll see how much track position he can make up. Now he's going to need it to stay green until everything cycles through. And off and away, clean stop, 11.9 seconds. Get rolling back up onto the racetrack. There goes Kenseth and the rest of the leaders. Ryan Newman may have pit that last time by. A lot of clean traffic for Biffle to pull up onto the racetrack. Car's definitely going to loosen up even more, taking the right side tires only as well. It's going to be questionable if those left sides are going to make it to the end of the race or not. Just really trying to gain as much track position as he can. Even if he doesn't get back in the lead lap when they cycle through, can he get into the free pass position? Get himself within range. If we get another caution in this race that he can get back on the lead lap, he could take 4 tires under the stop and try to come from the back of the field to the front of 4 fresh Goodyears. That was the big strategy call with this most recent stop. There are a lot of cars pitting shy of the lap 150 mark as well. Probably going to see some guys short pit as soon as the window makes. He's definitely open to the end of the race. 50 laps to go as we run right now. Biffle's up to 30th. That's Tony Stewart right in front of Greg Biffle. Stewart getting up to speed in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Biffle in the draft of him on the front stretch. Should allow Biffle to stay with Stewart. More positions down on the bottom of the track, it looks like. Not Johnson, he's on the lead lap. I doubt that most of these cars are on the lead lap up ahead. Kenseth is in from the lead. Will it be Ryan Newman cycling back to the lead when everything does cycle through once again? Biffle to the inside of Lonnie McKinney in the 177. He'll get around him. That was not for position either. Looks like Casey Mears is leading the race right now. He's open for a caution. Mears staying out as long as he can. Casey Mears on his way in now. About 47 laps to go by the time Mears pit. He went further than anybody else on fuel that time. Stewart going to get held up a little bit. Side-by-side lap traffic in front of Smoke. 3 wide in the tri-oval. Stewart desperately trying to pinch Biffle. Biffle could not keep his pace up. Lane open for Stewart on the bottom of the track. Couple passes for position for Biffle. Oh, big slide off turn 2. Stayed in the gas, drove out of it. And he'll be able to clear the 144, middle of the back straightaway, getting a pull from Tony Stewart again in the draft. And Biffle did not gain much time on Ryan Newman. Maybe a little bit of time, but not much. By the way, we've been caution-free for 102 laps now. Over half the total distance of the race. 4 yellows in the first 49 laps. Actually, it's 103 laps we've been caution-free, considering that Biffle is a lap down in 28th. Again, though, you just never know if he is in the free pass position or not. Just can't really work around Tony Stewart right now either. Just continue to sit behind him. Have to wait to make a move eventually. It's going to be tough though on those older left side tires to make the move. Just ran a 38.7 that last lap. And that's another spot for Biffle up to 27th. It's looking better than 40th like he was in for the longest time. Could this be enough to at least take the points lead away from Dale Jr. going into the next race next week? Biffle really has a lot of faith in his race car. Biffle just ran his fastest lap of the race that last time by. I think drafting with Tony Stewart, he's actually, although he's not able to pass him, he's still running his fastest laps of the race, even on old left side tires. It's edgy, but he's hanging on to it. Back into the 38.8s that last lap, dropped about almost 9/10 of a second, but Newman struggles in lap traffic a little bit. Can Tony Stewart get up here and maybe have a shot to win this race? Most of these guys can't make it on fuel, but there are some that definitely can. And can Biffle's left side tires make it to the end? Because if so, I think he's going to go fuel only, splash and go on the last stop, because he is about 2 to 3 laps short on fuel. It's looking like a 5-stopper for him rather than 4. Closing in on Casey Kane, who I believe would be a position for Stewart, but not for Biffle. I think Kane's on the lead lap. Shocked if he was lapped down, because he actually led laps earlier in the race. Granted, it was in the middle of green flag pit stops, right around lap 100, but still. .705 that last lap for Greg Biffle. That time it was his fastest lap of the race. So he continues to stick behind Tony Stewart. And very closely at that. .39 laps to go. Casey Kane maybe holding Tony Stewart up a little bit. Biffle to the inside of Stewart. Stewart's going to have a little drafting help, though, with Casey Kane on the back straightaway. Biffle should have the advantage on the bottom, though, into turn 3, as Stewart could not pull clear of the 16, taking a little too long to get around Casey Kane, and now Biffle is going to just draft with Kane. Biffle could somehow unlap himself and then get a yellow, considering that about half the field, if not a little more than that, is a lap down. If he could take 4 tires for then, and cars would have to pit with him, can he gain spots on pit road? Maybe he goes fuel only. It opens up the playbook a lot more if he could race his way back on the lead lap and then get a yellow. I didn't think that was possible, especially on old left side tires, but Biffle is running at a very, very good pace right now. And Ryan Newman is probably struggling in lap traffic, as well as perhaps battling for the lead with other drivers around him, which is definitely holding him up. Kane quickly to the inside of Robbie Gordon in the 31. Biffle will follow the 9 of Casey Kane to get by Gordon. That's another spot for Biffle. Again, any one of these cars could be definitely a free pass position for Biffle at this point. I think there's more lap cars in front of him yet. Oh, he got into Casey Kane. Kane's in the wall in turns 3 and 4. Stalled the run out for Biffle, middle of the front stretch. Stewart gets to the outside into turns 1 and 2. Might not have been the lane to go, though. Kane on the bottom to try and get back around Stewart as they battle for position, likely in the top 5. Things are definitely heating up one way or another. I think Ray Parker's for position up ahead for Biffle as well. Biffle definitely not in the free pass position. He needs to get to Parker. I want to know what lap times he's running by himself right now. 38.9 is not terrible. Mark Martin would definitely be a spot. But Martin let his teammate go, knowing his teammate's racing for a championship. Mark Martin well out of contention to win his first career title this season. Biffle may be the only hope for Jack Roush to win a title this year. Busch actually won the title in 2004. Ray Parker going to get around the 6 of Martin, likely for position. Biffle drafts behind Parker. The inside, it looked like Martin was trying to side draft the right rear corner panel of Parker. Biffle to 25th. Drafting behind the 141. Now to the inside of the 141 car off of turn 2. Heavy lap traffic around Newman. Another spot gained, Biffle to 24th. These are a few points per position that he is making up with these passes. Is it enough to take the points lead away from Dale Jr., who was in 42nd out of the race and will finish 42nd out of the race today? I think Newman might be pulling away from Biffle again, though. It seems that way, just a little bit. Jeff Gordon's up ahead, and we know he's on the lead lap. Biffle's back in the 39s. for his lap time. I think that's Gordon. It might not be Gordon. It looked like him at first. It's bedtime. Not yet. I usually don't go to bed until like 11 on my non-work nights. It's definitely later than what we usually are streaming. Not used to doing cup races this late, at least. Bush or truck races is reasonable. They're shorter races. So Biffle closing in on Jeff Gordon. Really doesn't want to work with Gordon in the draft. We know Gordon's not for position. But I think Biffle's going to have to do it. I think he has to work with Gordon. He's got no choice, really. Do what he could do, or like he did with Tony Stewart, Casey Kane there for a little bit, and try to run down as many of these lap cars as possible, and hopefully, potentially, get around Ryan Newman late as well. 29 laps to go, that's all we have left. One car blowing up on the inside of the racetrack, it is Jeff Green, that's another position for Biffle. 43 car for Petty Enterprises, blown an engine. Jeff Green in the 43. We'll have to nurse that car to pit road. Hopefully he can make it. Terry Labonte will be the next car in front of Biffle for position. That will be for 22nd as Biffle closes on him. Still drafts behind Jeff Gordon in the 24. These passes that Biffle's making, though, it's minimizing the amount of points that Gordon's going to end up closing in as well if Biffle takes the points lead from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Right now, he's 20 spots ahead of him. I think that would be enough to take the points lead. They both have 5 bonus points today, both meaning Jr. and Biffle, and even Jeff Gordon does have 5 bonus points as well. I think Ryan Newman is going to go on to lead the most. He has dominated the second half of this race. Biffle gets really, really loose into turns 3 and 4, hangs on to it. Another car blowing... No, never mind. It's still Jeff Green. Still Green trying to limp his way around this long Michigan International Speedway. Draft is allowing Biffle to save a little bit of fuel as well. Biffle took right side tires only under the last pit stop. A lot more traffic up ahead. I don't know if Gordon's going to be able to navigate it well or not. We'll see. Does Jeff Gordon have anything for Ryan Newman? He's definitely closing on Matt Kenseth, which would be for position up ahead. A lot of lap cars in the mix as well. Barry Baker, Ward Burton, Scott Riggs. Nearly 3 wide off of turn 4. That's Harvick battling Kenseth for, I believe, second place. Gordon trying to make it a 3-car battle for second as he tries to gain on the points leader as they run, which would be Greg Biffle. Coming into the day, it was Dale Jr. By the way, that pass on Baker was for position. Riggs and Burton should be for position for Biffle as well. This should move him up to 19th. And for the time being, Greg Biffle is the first car 1 lap down. And actually, Burton was already a lap down, so it looks like Greg Biffle is in 20th, but he is still the first car 1 lap down with 25 laps to go. So he has at least battled his way into the free pass position. Gordon to the inside of Kevin Harvick for third. Biffle going to have to follow the 24 car. In the draft, Biffle a little loose off turn 2. Still hanging on the old left side tires that he's asking to go about 100 laps to the end of the race. Gordon with a late charge into turn 3, trying to get to the inside of Kenseth. He can't do it. Caution! And Biffle will get back on the lead lap with the free pass. 25 laps to go. We finally have our 5th yellow of the race. And it is for Kyle Petty off of turn 2 as he backs into the outside wall. Nose and then right side of the car first. And hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Greg Biffle, after spending over half the race a lap down, is back on the lead lap in the top 20. And he can pit with having the free pass. For tires, we'll see how many pit this time, who will stay out. He can make it on fuel with this stop as well. He was about 2 laps short. Man, it's a mixed field A mixed bag. Some cars are pitting, some are staying out. But it's definitely going to be 4 tires and fuel for the 16 of Biffle. And he's going to take a half around to wedge out of the car to try and help loosen it up a little more. It's going to be really edgy in traffic, but they're making their only adjustments they've made all day. This is insane. What a comeback this could be. We were a lap down with 25 to go. We were in 40th place with about 60 laps left in this one. 2-tire stop under green to get to the free pass position. Just enough for a caution. It looks like Biffle's losing spots on pit road. Well, it wouldn't matter. We got the free pass anyway, so we're going to be at the back of the field. So about half the field pits, half of it stays out. We're going to have about 20 laps to go on the restart. Who knows if we stay green to the end now, and Biffle has to go the full length of the field with the free pass. He's got a lot of cars on old tires in front of him, though. A lot of lap cars as well. Green flag is in the air. Can Ryan Newman hold on? He had a big lead before that caution. And they're already fanning out the 3 wide. Biffle actually got the cycle ahead of Petty, who was on the lead lap. Beans Petty was involved in the accident. So that's why he is in 19th and no longer in 20th. Were the adjustments enough? 3 wide off of turn 4. Saw some contact and some sparks flying in the middle of the pack. Can the drivers who stayed out on old tires make it to the finish? 20 laps to go at Michigan. They are 3 by 3 into turn 1. We've seen wrecks on restarts already today. Remember how many cautions we had in the first quarter of the race? 4 of them, and they were all in less than 13 laps after a run. They are 4 wide nearly on the back straightaway. They're definitely 3 by 3 again. Biffle pulls in line behind Sterling Marlin as he is inside the top 15. What a rally to take the points lead from Dale Jr., who blew an engine. Biffle was outside the top 35 for over half the race. And now we have a new leader at the line. It's Matt Kenseth who takes it away from Ryan Newman. Sterling Marlin's getting a lot of spot. Oh, contact! Marlin and Wallace into one. Wallace goes up the track. Marlin goes up the track a little bit. Opens way on the bottom for Greg Biffle, who's trying to crack the top 10. This is my home track, too. Just throwing that out there. What a turn of events. I don't know how many drivers are on fresher tires that are still ahead of Biffle, and the adjustments are working so far since the restart. The leader's going to be the toughest one to pass, though. That driver will have the clean air. That's why it was so impressive for Kenseth to get around Newman even a couple laps after the restart. But can he get away? Gordon takes it 3 wide under Jeff Burton, Terry Labonte. Now Biffle, nearly 4 wide off of turn number 2, still 3 wide. Biffle is up to 9th. He's going to dive bomb it into turn 3. Can't get to the inside of the 24 car, but he is going to get around his teammate Jeff Burton for 8th. Michael Waltrip on the high side. Gordon gets around him. Gordon is flying right now. He was flying before the caution, too. I'm not sure if he pitted or not. Now rookie Casey Kane has the lead. 17 laps to go. Biffle has come back to 7th place from a lap down for over half the race. He was in 40th. He took right sides only, got to the free pass, and then a caution came out a couple laps after. And for those of you that might have turned away and have just come back wondering what the heck has happened, this race has been flipped on its side. Now Biffle has fresh tires along with about half the field. Half of them stayed out, half of them pit. And the drivers that stayed out, I'm assuming they can make it to the end on fuel, but we're not entirely sure either. Gordon blocking Biffle. He may be on fresher tires with him restarting in the back like that. I think Gordon does have fresher tires, because he was in 3rd place before the caution came out. Oh, big block by Kenseth as he pulls up clear of Casey Kane off of turn 2. Kane trying to get his first career win. It is a madhouse at the front. And all the drivers on old tires are getting rained down by the 2 on fresh tires of Jeff Gordon and Greg Biffle. 15 to go at the line. Plenty of time. 2-mile racetrack again here at Michigan. Oh, that was a big moment there for Biffle. Tried to get underneath Gordon going down to the apron. That did not work out for him. Gordon on the inside of Harvick. If Gordon gets to the lead first, though, remember, he's third at points trying to catch up. He's still going to gain quite a bit with Junior being out of the race, and I guess he wouldn't be able to take over second in points. But he would definitely close. Maybe to within one race worth of points if he finishes ahead of Biffle. Biffle on the inside of Kevin Harvick. Looking to make the pass on the 29 car. Biffle down to the apron. Trying to break free of the 29. Harvick did go all the way down to side draft, and Biffle was trying to break the draft as much as he could. Biffle still on the bottom and clear. Harvick is actually not for position, so he may be a lap down, fortunately. So Harvick not on the lead lap. Ryan Newman back to the lead after losing it a couple laps after the restart to Kenseth. Kenseth's now back to fourth. Gordon's inside the top five, first of the drivers on fresh tires. Biffle to the inside of Tony Stewart. Pulls back into line behind him. Jimmy Johnson spun from the lead early in the race. He's in third. 7 cars under a blanket for the win at Michigan. And will we stay green to the end? Casey Kane's in second. Trying to go for his first career win as a rookie. Stewart crosses Gordon over. Even with Gordon on fresher tires. Stewart with a big block on the 24 to the outside. Biffle's definitely kind of stalled out a little bit in traffic now as he's gotten to the faster cars, even with those faster cars on old tires. Definitely where it's been tougher to pass. Stewart just got by Kenseth for fourth as well. Kenseth with a block on Jeff Gordon. 11 laps to go at Michigan. Oh, contact somewhere up there. Saw some sparks flying. Johnson looking underneath Kane. Biffle's got a big run in the draft on the backstretch to pull closer to Gordon. Oh, he just got underneath him off turn 4. What a move. Got it to stick on the white line, and he's clear off of turn 4 for 6th. Stays in the draft, 10 to go. Remember, if a caution comes out with less than 5 to go, the race could end. Biffle hangs on in front of Gordon. Oh, 1 car wide. Newman's going wide. Johnson to the inside for the lead. Down the back straightaway. Big block by Kane on Kenseth. Biffle dive bombs it into turn 4. Oh, he gets into Kenseth, who gets into Casey Kane. They both go wide. Kane's in the wall on the outside. Actually, Kenseth is. Kane saved it. Kenseth did not. Gordon checked up, and Biffle's to 4th. Biffle hung on to it. And Stewart's going for the lead now on Jimmy Johnson. Stewart clear, high. Newman for second. He nearly gets into Stewart. Biffle under Johnson, who got stuck to the outside. Drafting behind Ryan Newman, now trying to break whatever side draft Jimmy Johnson could have had. Jimmy, though, with the draft of the help of the cars that were up high, as Newman actually went back up behind Stewart late down the front stretch. Again, Biffle is the first car on fresher tires, and that is why he is closed on the leaders, because he has not been as fast as them all day long. Johnson to the inside of Newman. Biffle could not take it 3 wide in the tri-oval. Johnson with a last-ditch effort, side drafts to 12. Big block in the middle of the corner as well. Biffle underneath Newman for third. Johnson may be going for the lead on the backstretch on Tony Stewart. Stewart with a block down the back straightaway. Biffle has cleared Newman for third into turn 3. Johnson under Stewart, side by side for the lead. Coming to 6 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson's clear off of turn 4. Biffle slides in line as he remains in third with 6 to go. Newman's still there, and Casey Kane is right behind him in 5th. It's a 5-car race. Stewart now to the inside of Jimmy Johnson on the backstretch. Biffle will draft with Stewart on the bottom. Biffle maybe trying to go for it all. Oh, he slides up the track, nearly making contact with Jimmy Johnson. That allows Stewart to take the lead, and he gets away. 5 laps to go for Tony Stewart to try and win his 4th race of the season. Biffle is up to 2nd, clearing Johnson in 1 and 2. And remember, Biffle, fresher tires than everybody else in the top 5. They'll be coming to 4 to go, and Stewart may be a sitting duck. Stewart is going to make his car wide. Biffle looking low. Can he force Stewart into a mistake? And if a caution comes out at any point, the race is over. Biffle can't just wait around. No cautions on the final lap, if we do get there. Stewart goes a bit wide into 3 and 4. Biffle is there. He's underneath him, side by side for the lead. Off of turn 4. Stewart gets the run on the high side. Biffle trying to side draft it. Stewart's clear with a block at the line. Newman going for third on Jimmy Johnson. Biffle has not led since lap 13. Charges again into 3 on Stewart. Slides the car down on the white line. Can't get around him. Two laps to go. Biffle gonna try the outside. Trying to build up some momentum on the backstretch to make the dive into 3 again. He has a bit of a run. Stewart went up to try to put the dirty air on Biffle. Newman is up to 3rd further behind. Biffle goes wide into 3 and 4 now. Just trying something. He slides though in the middle of the corner. Picks up the throttle. May have a run on Stewart. In the draft, they'll be coming to the white flag. Final lap of the race. Biffle is doing what he can right now to get around Tony Stewart. Oh, Biffle slides in the middle of the corner. That might have been it. That might have been it for Greg Biffle. He lost a lot of time. Into turns 3 and 4 as he has to charge. Tony Stewart. Will he get there? Biffle cannot. Tony Stewart's going to hold on to win at Michigan on old tires. Biffle from a lap down. An incredible comeback to get a 2nd place finish. But it just wasn't enough to pass Stewart in the waning laps. Stewart holds on. Biffle got underneath him once with about 4 to go, but he couldn't clear him, and he just could never get back underneath him again. That clean air car is so difficult to pass, and Biffle could not get around him even on fresh tires. What a race. I'm just astonished we came back from that far to finish second. Yes, we had fresher tires on the last restart. If we did not, we probably had a 15th place car, but I don't care. That perfect timing caution with like 25 to go put us in that spot. Thank you, Kyle Petty, for spinning out in turn 2. Oh my goodness. We were in 25th when the caution came out with 25 laps to go. Or sorry, 20th. We were in 20th when the caution came out with 25 to go. First car 1 lap down. We were in 40th. I need to go back and look, but we were in 40th place very late in this race. Before it took 2 tires under the last green flag stop to try and gain track position to be in the free pass position. I knew I wasn't going to get back on the lead lap with that move. Let's see. 39th. I was in 39th with 59 laps to go. I was in 38th with 56 laps to go. From 38th, 1 lap down with 56 to go, to finishing second, right behind Tony Stewart at the finish. Got the free pass. We played the strategy perfectly to get in the free pass position in case a caution came out, taking 2 tires, knowing track position was so important at Michigan. Unbelievable. We got to check out the point standings too yet. And the top finishers. We got to go through all this. 2 hours, 40 minutes total time on the race today. 5 cautions for 15 caution laps. 38 lead changes. 1/10 of a second margin of victory. Average race speed 149.55 miles an hour. Tony Stewart leads just 13 laps today. Biffle only led the first 12. I thought he led the first 13, but I only led the first 12. Ryan Newman led 95 laps and had a big lead before that last caution came out with 25 to go, and he couldn't hold on old tires to win the race. It was one car on old tires that won, and that was Tony Stewart. He had a lot of different leaders, especially at the end there. It was a roulette of drivers taking the lead until Stewart took it with about 6 to go and held on. So Tony Stewart with the win. Biffle second, Ryan Newman third, Casey Kane fourth, Jimmy Johnson rounds out the top 5. Jeff Gordon, who came in third in points, gains a lot on the points leader. Dale Jr., who blew an engine today, also led 9 laps, so he got 5 bonus points, finished 6th. Great run for Gordon. He'll close in on the points gap there. Matt Kenseth ends up 7th. He led 52 laps today. Jeff Burton did not lead a lap at 8th. He's the first driver of those who did not lead a lap today. Bobby Labonte finishes 9th, and Jamie McMurray rounds out the top 10. What a run for the Biff. Casey Mears led that 1 lap earlier. So we would have had 19 drivers finish on the lead lap today then. Kevin Harvick was the first car a lap down in 20th. He led 1 lap. Seeing all DNF. Jeff Green, Kennedy, Joe Nemechek, Brendan Gaughan, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Elliott Sadler blew an engine in today's race. Jr. led 2 laps before blowing an engine at lap 55. That was the big one, though. Not the big one as far as access. We did have a couple 6+ car pileups today, too, but in the first 50 laps before it mellowed out there, and we had a green flag run of about 130 laps before the final caution. But we did end up getting 1 more. And thank goodness, because otherwise we would have finished a lap down, probably 20th. I don't know if we could have gained another position on those old left side tires running in 20th where we were. And that caution saved us. It was a great rally just to get to 20th on strategy. Even without a caution, we would have finished a lap down in 20th. But my goodness, what a comeback. Next race is at Kansas for the Banquet 400. And it's looking like that is going to be on Monday. So that will be Monday night on the channel. And as far as the point standings, we get to look. Biffle back in the points lead after a 14th place finish at Talladega, losing him the lead to Dale Jr. Jr. blows an engine in the next race, following his top 5 at Dega. 42nd is definitely going to hurt Dale Jr. Wow, yeah, that hurt him a ton. Greg Biffle was 28 points back coming in. Second place finish, led laps. What a rally, and now he has a 105-point lead. Gordon did gain. He's 188 back at third, but he did not gain much, with Biffle outrunning him by 4 positions at the end. Unbelievable. Regine Huddleston, welcome to the stream as well. Whether you came back at the end and realized, oh wow, he came back, or you stayed through it all, thank you for watching tonight. If we would have won this race, that might have been the greatest comeback of all time. In 25 laps to do what we did at Michigan, we got the perfect timing caution, but we put ourselves in that position with pit strategy. We did not have a fast car at all today. I know I qualified on the pole, but I wrecked on lap 13. Bringing out the first caution, we had heavy damage from there. I had about a 15th place car after that, and we rallied. We went a lap down. We got ourselves the track position. We were like 40th at one point. It was just a roller coaster of a race that led somehow to a second place finish, and now the points lead with 9 races to go in the season. And because Dale Jr. blew an engine, we go from down 28, running in 40th, to Jr. blowing an engine, and now we're 105 points ahead. And we finished second to gain those points. It was a complete 180 of how this race started. It looked like we were still going to be behind than what we were. I thought we were going to be over 100 back with 9 to go. Not 100 ahead. That is huge. I have not ran well in the super speedways this season. And ended up, we have one more race at Talladega yet. I said 14th in the last race at Talladega. 14th in the last race at Daytona. Under the lights for a 400-mile race. But championship still at Dega, so if we don't have the championship clinched before the final race of the season, you never know what could happen there. We got wrecked today. Luckily, we didn't DNF, and we were running 40th there for a while, but we were able to take on fresh tires and make some moves on that last restart, and got the free pass to put ourselves in that position. Great finish to this race. If you did not see it, I highly recommend going back and rewatching. Probably about the last 70 laps of this race. It was just insane how everything played out. And how slowly it played out, and then how quickly it played out after that final restart with 21 or 22 laps to go when we went green. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune in tomorrow on the channel. I'll be doing live commentary for tomorrow's Geico 500 at Talladega, the real race for the NASCAR Cup Series. That will start at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pre-race on the channel will be live streamed at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your Saturday night. We got Dega tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be a fun one. Can't wait to watch the race with you guys and bring you guys the commentating action.